From Sweden, Modvion.
Thank you. Hi. Are you awake? So, I'm Joachim, and I'm from Modvion. We're the IKEA of wind power. We sell modular wind power towers to the turbine manufacturers for 1.4 million euros each, and they then assemble and package the whole product as a package for the park builders. And in this process, we reduce CO2 emissions. So the global market for wind power towers is 23 billion euros. Europe is about 20% of that, and our niche is the extra tall towers in Europe, which is 1,600 towers annually. And this is very interesting for us, since they have a huge problem with transportation. We do two things. We enable taller towers, and we reduce the costs with about 10% from the current options. And we keep very good margins in this case. The big trend in wind power industry is that the towers grow taller and taller. And this is simply because the turbine manufacturers want to utilize their turbines as good as possible and keep a good return on investment. However, as the towers grow wider, the roads do not. And if you want to fully optimize the base diameter of a 140-meter tall tower, this by far exceeds the transportation regulations. So we have a problem. Here's Modvion's solution. This is a normal tower, and this is Modvion. We offer a modular solution for our tower, which is stackable in order to simplify transportation. You see the panels left side? These are our patented product. We assemble those into larger sections in order to a lower amount of lifts at the building site. And these are made in cross-laminated timber, CLT, which is a highly engineered wood product. If we sell towers on the market prices, we'll break even after 8 towers. And by supplying 50% of our beachhead market, this renders a net profit of 250 million euros. Yeah. So, a normal tower that has a carbon dioxide payback time of about 2 to 3 years. And Modvion reduce 1,500 tons per tower. And this accumulates to 4.2 million tons in our beachhead market, which is about 800,000 cars removed from the roads. However, that's not all. If we look at unlocking the market for wind power towers of 140 meter tall, that is 140 meter tall, we triple the generation capacity according to the US Department of Energy. And if we do that for our little beachhead, that means accumulated reduction of carbon dioxide corresponding to an additional 2 million cars. So about 10 million tons of carbon dioxide. So we have 2 patents approved. We enable transportation cost efficiently, on the contrary to the current options. For instance, the one in the middle, skinny there. By narrowing the towers down using thicker walls, you add about 200 tons of steel to the tower, which is not a feasible alternative. We have partnerships in, for instance, Austria. We have assembled a consortium devoted to a 3 million euro development project. And we're at the Boston Mass Challenge Accelerator right now. And we also got accepted to Climate Kick a few weeks back, which is very exciting. Lastly, there's a big CLT trend right now for high-performing purposes. They're used for skyscrapers even right now. So this is a good time for entry. So all this started 10 years back when David built competition sailboats in wood, and he realized the power in wood and wind. And now we want to reduce millions of tons of carbon dioxide while increasing the use of wind. We want to be somewhat of a flagship, proving that sustainable materials can be used for pretty much anything. Thank you.
Nice. And
what about barriers to entry? Like, if you prove it is successful, these are modular towers, how easy it is for competitors to go into the same market?
I would say that this is a two-edged sword, so to say. Firstly, wind power is a hard market to get into. But if you want to get into market, it is the towers, because they are universally outsourced. You can change the tower without changing the machine. However, we have, for instance, a competitor called Timber Tower. There's an existing tower standing that is 100 meters tall in Germany. And The big trouble right now is simply to assemble them in a quick way. And we think that we have the best solution. So it's simply the quickest runner in this case. And the patents, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question. Tavi.
Could you explain in more detail the specific competitive advantage that number of companies are also working on solutions of having taller towers, but maybe you can go to detail.
Yeah. So there are three main ways of doing this. First off, keeping them short. That's not one of those. The other is to narrow them down. Those have shown to be more expensive. These are not viable. The last one is modular solution. And the ones we've seen so far, they take too long to assemble. This has been our focus all the time, because wood is a very light material. And that's our main advantage when it comes to, for instance, Siemens steel shell tower. It took about 1 month to assemble that tower, which is extremely costly. So I would say it's, compared to that section of towers, it's time. Compared to the others, it's the price. Wood is a very cheap material. We have a flexible margin. We could go very low.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.